How's your day going so far, aside from talking about yourself a lot and interview after interview today?
Oh, the day is going great. It's really, really, really nice out here in Chapel Hill where I am right now.
Yeah.
And okay, let's see something here. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to get this all done on a phone in a car. So, um, but I'm doing great. I'm really excited about the show that I'm about to do. We're doing two record release parties on
Hmm.
Thursday and Friday at Gas Hill and Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and also at Cat's Cradle Back Room in Carborough, North Carolina. Two places I've played a lot, and I'm
Yes.
real excited about getting to do that.
Yeah, so Face of 68 is the new record. I find it very interesting the approach that you took to getting the basic tracks done in the matter of 4 days, 3, 4 days, or something like that. Did you have that approach in mind when you were writing the songs?
Not when I was writing the songs, but when I started making the decisions to get Dixon involved and get the musicians that are going to play on it. So it was the idea of what can we get this in under $10,000, and can we get this done in a matter of just a few days? And so uh, with a little bit of foresight, were able to make it happen. Don Dixon is a great producer. We've
Oh yeah.
been friends since the early 1970s when I was a kid and he was an older teen, and he had a band that played a lot in Winston-Salem. And, I've done all sorts of work with him over the years. Rob Ladd is an amazing drummer. Robert Sledge, who played with Ben Folds Five,
Yes.
superb bass player. And I pretty much handled all the rest of everything. So we were able to knock it out in a studio about 6 minutes away from my house, and we did it in three and a half of the 4 days. So
So people,
we killed the other half a day just sitting around talking.
good position to be in. So when people see upcoming gigs in support of Face of 68, how much of the record are you going to be playing?
I'm going to try to do at least 7 or 8 songs from the record. A lot of the shows I'm going to be doing are going to be solo acoustic, but and that's just the realities of touring in 2025. Um, and the good thing is that, of course, I can make these songs sound as powerful as the record makes them sound when I do them on acoustic, which I'm really glad about.
Sure. So these days, you're a cottage industry, and that's meant to be a compliment because when you make an album, it's not like you're waiting around going, what's going to be the single? It's people are like, hey, cool, a new album from Peter. We're psyched. And then they go, okay, so then we're going to see him play on the road 50 to 100 dates in support of this record. It's kind of routine in a good way. When did you start to feel comfortable about being this cottage industry where you could just be yourself and you weren't worrying so much about trends?
Well, I did a house concert tour right after the pandemic had kind of eased, and I took my songs out to these small gatherings in people's houses,
Yeah.
and it felt really good. I've done shows where I've been the opening act and I felt like an obstacle, and I don't want to do that. I want people to come and hear my music. And the nice thing about the house concerts is that people come and actually come to see you play. So that's a real exciting matter for me to have that. And I've played in bands over the years, many bands. I've played
Yeah.
as an adjunct to big, huge acts, and that's been great. I've learned a lot with both of those experiences, both my own bands and working with other people's bands. And I hope I've come away with some good tools to make my show dynamic and entertaining and fun and exciting and listenable and memorable, I'd like to think that as I encroach on 70 years of age, maybe I've got this under control finally.
So these days, when somebody says, "Hey, Peter, we'd love you to perform live," what's the ideal set time that you would play? Because some artists go, "The travel sucks. I might as well be on here for like 3 hours," and then other people go, "30 minutes is the sweet spot."
Well, I think there's a lot of ground to cover, especially when you have a brand new record.
Yeah.
So my tendency, if I was an opening act out there on the big stage opening for Godzilla, I would want to probably play 35 minutes so I don't overstay my welcome, and also so I can make it out of town and not get caught in Godzilla's fiery rain. So there's that. If I had a band and was an opening act, it would be longer. And house concerts are a different animal altogether, because you got people that are coming to see you. You can actually do two 1 hour sets and hit all the high spots in your career. And I think people walk away from those shows feeling very satisfied if you do that.
Sure. So you are forever associated with North Carolina, but that's not where you went to college. It's not where you grew up. And these days, North Carolina, because of Asheville, because of Yep Rock, et cetera, Red Eye, et cetera, is thought of as this music industry hotbed. But what brought you to North Carolina in the first place? Because you really were North Carolina before it was cool.
Well, I came to North Carolina in 1962 because my father moved the family down from Greenwich, Connecticut, where I was
Oh,
born. He was a banker and he worked for First National City Bank in New York, but then he got a deal with Wachovia Bank, which was the big bank in North Carolina, and moved the family down there. And it was, obviously the timing was such that I had just gotten into first grade, and so I was halfway through that. But North Carolina was a really good place, and I did actually go to school at down the road at UNC Chapel Hill. And I started as a music major, but realized very soon that you really had to know how to read notes to do that, and I didn't know how to read music, so I switched over to journalism. And I took my last tuition money. I guess it's safe to say that, since my parents are deceased, took my last tuition money and bought an amp, and then just played rock and roll from then on out. Moved to New York eventually, joined up with the DBs, and then moved to Los Angeles, and then moved to New Orleans, where I was with the Continental Drifters for many, many years. And then after Hurricane Katrina, we moved back to North Carolina. So it was all kind of a circle.
so what I'm hearing is Wikipedia is wrong about certain aspects of your life, and those need to be fixed.
Well, the problem with Wikipedia is it is not a, I mean, it's kind of moderated, but people can get in there and say,
Right.
oh, he's the guy that did something bad, and I don't think of myself as having done anything bad, but you never
No.
know.
No, you are Peter. To me, you're uncancelable. So a couple of questions for you,
Thank you.
and then I let you go to the next appointment. Okay.
Ah,
First one, you're done with this record for a while now. To us, it's a new record, though. Are you already thinking about the next record you might make?
not yet. I want to kind of concentrate all of my mental acuity, that which I still have at 69 years of age,
Yes.
and really focus on that and try to get this record. This is a record to me that is a success on so many levels, even just having come out.
Hmm.
To me, it's cohesive. To me, the songs work together. I think that the track order is also really great. It works really good. So I want to make sure that we play this record out to its final resting place. Make it go, push it down the hill, make it pick up speed. I want people to hear this record because it is really, really good. And I never say that about my own records, but this one
Sure.
I do. So that's the plan right now. And the songs come when they do. I've got a recording studio behind my house. That's where I cut the title track, Face of 68.
Hmm.
And so I've got the workshop to work on it. But right now I just kind of have to say sort of focused on the issue at hand, which is the Face of 68.
Gotcha. Next question. You called out earlier that you've been sideman to some very prominent bands at different points. One of them, Hootie and the Blowfish. Whenever I interview a member of Hootie, I wind up talking about Van Halen with them and some of their more glam influences. I never pegged you as a person who liked any music that had shredding or excessive guitar solos, but am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I mean, really depends on your choice of words for shredding. I mean, I think Roy Smeck shreds. If you're not familiar with his work, he was a guitar player and a mandolin player and a ukulele player and a steel guitar player from the 30s and 40s and did a bunch of shorts that you can find on YouTube. So I think he kills. I think people like Wes Montgomery shreds in my book. And I love the Grateful Dead. Okay, I admit it. I love Live Dead is one of my favorite records. I love the group Man from Wales. I think some of their stuff is just incredible. I love Hawkwind. Is that shredding? I'm not sure. I don't have to go for guitar heroes, but I do really appreciate guitar players who play really well. So when you say Eddie Van Halen, I go and I say Stanley Jordan. And you can say Joe Bonamassa, and I'll say Mike Bloomfield. So
Oh,
it really all kind of depends on what your definition of shredding is. I like a great guitar solo. Maybe my favorite guitar solo of all is Henry McCullough's solo on My Love by Paul McCartney and Wings, which he just basically said to Paul, "Hey, let me do a track of solo," and he went out there and he just nailed it. So that's the kind of stuff I think you can say a lot in a few notes, and you don't have to play a million notes. So, but again, one man's opinion, right?
sure. Well, we do get an homage to Joe Walsh through My Idea number 49. So you do know a good guitar player too. And the last question that I have for you, Peter, all we
Okay.
really know about you is the music, the credits, the music, that end of your life. What's the number two passion when you're not touring or recording or writing?
Oh, my family. Absolutely. I've got three kids. I've got one who's a mom of a little girl down in Violet, Louisiana. I've got
Hmm,
a son who's at college senior in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've
hmm.
got a daughter who is a high school senior who is graduating in a couple of weeks and going to Sarah Lawrence in the fall. I've got a wife who is a genius and I love her dearly. I've got a couple of ex-wives who I still get along with tremendously. I would say family, really. That's just I love being in that throng. It's good people. They keep me honest, they keep me cool, they keep me happy, and I hopefully do the same for them.
Well, thank you for the decades of great art. Hope to see you live in New York in the near future. And congrats on Face of 68.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Paltrocast.